Less than 3 months ago, at platform hearings in Salt Lake City, I asked the Republican Party to lift the shroud of silence which has been draped over the issue of HIV and AIDS. I have come tonight to bring our silence to an end. I bear a message of challenge, not self-congratulation. I want your attention, not your applause. I would never have asked to be HIV positive, but I believe that in all things there is a purpose, and I stand before you and before the nation gladly. The reality of AIDS is brutally clear. 200,000 Americans are dead or dying. 1 million more are infected. Worldwide, 40 million, 60 million, or 100 million infections will be counted in the coming few years. But despite science and research, White House meetings and congressional hearings, despite good intentions and bold initiatives, campaign slogans, and hopeful promises, it is, despite it all, the epidemic which is winning tonight. In the context of an election year, I ask you here in this great hall, or listening in the quiet of your home, to recognize that AIDS virus is not a political creature. It does not care whether you are Democrat or Republican. It does not ask whether you are black or white, male or female, gay or straight, young or old.
In 1992, Mary Fisher spoke at the Republican National Convention in Houston, Texas. It was the time when George W. Bush was nominated for presidential re-election. Mary Fisher was diagnosed with HIV that was transmitted through her second husband and is now raising awareness of the severity of this horrific disease.
The purpose of Mary Fisher's A Whisper of AIDS speech is to bring awareness to the AIDS epidemic and to show how dangerous it can be. Mary Fisher wants people to understand that it can be contracted very easily and for everyone to be careful. More specifically, she points out the people who think they are safe from it and makes it clear that they aren't. Mary Fisher's tone in this is to be informative and to be fearful. She's informative by wanting to spread the awareness about the epidemic to common people. To do so, she needs to provide them with factual statements. But she's fearful because she wants to make it obvious that the epidemic is something to fear and to be careful with. This is shown when she says, "This is not a distant threat, it is a present danger."
Mary Fisher's speech was heard by the people who attended the Republican convention and those who tuned in to the live broadcasting of the event. Over 27 million people listened to her addressing the issues of HIV and AIDS. She spoke for the public and for the patients who had the disease. Mary Fisher used pathos to bring in emotions in order to visualize and express the damages that AIDS had brought upon herself and other individuals and families. It is shown in one of the quotes, "In the darkest hours I have seen them reaching not only to me, but also to my parents, armed with that stunning grief and special grace that comes only to parents who have themselves leaned too long over the bedside of a dying child." Ethos was conveyed in Mary Fisher's speech when she said, "I would never have asked to be HIV positive." This quote boosted her credibility by stating that she too is living with HIV. She had spoken about the HIV and AIDS issue before at a previous event. She brought in credible people like the president and his wife and Pastor Martin Mueller. In Mary Fisher's speech, she said, 200,000 Americans are dead or dying, 1 million more are infected. Worldwide, 40 million or 60 million or 100 million infections will be counted in the coming few years. This quote represents Logos. Logos is used to show the increasing numbers of AIDS cases and the statistics on how dangerous HIV and AIDS has become and will be in the future.
Rhetorical devices. One of the things I noticed in her speech was personification. In Fisher's speech, she brings up AIDS and asks the virus, "Are you human?" This shows how she is personifying the virus as human. Another one I noticed was analogy. Mary Fisher uses an analogy when she states, "Though I am white and a mother, I am one with a black infant struggling with tube in a Philadelphia hospital. Though I am female and contracted this in marriage and enjoy the warm support of my family, I am one with the lonely gay man sheltering a flickering candle from the cold wind of his family's rejection." This shows that Mary Fisher is comparing herself to others in similar adverse situations. Although they live completely different lives, they can still relate to each other. The last one I noticed was parallelism. Because I was not hemophiliac, I was not at risk. Because I was not gay, I was not at risk. Because I did not inject drugs, I was not at risk. She uses this to emphasize her claim that everyone is at risk of getting AIDS. Even though she wasn't part of the stereotype, she still got the disease. This is proving a point that stereotyping going around about AIDS is false. Exigence. Mary Fisher has AIDS herself, so she is urging the country to spread awareness and protect themselves from it. She expresses this in statements like, "The harsh reality of AIDS is brutally clear, and if you believe you are safe, you are at risk." These statements show her overall concern and urgency to protect America from this virus by sharing her story. Assertion. If AIDS does not get more awareness, then America will suffer from the disease. One of the claims I found to support this assertion was, worldwide, 40 million, 60 million, or 100 million infections will be counted in the few coming years. This claim shows that if America does not open their eyes, countless infections will be coming their way. Another claim I found was, I ask you to recognize that AIDS virus is not a political creature. This claim portrays the importance of recognizing this virus as a concern for both parties. There needs to be a concern regardless of political affiliation. The last claim I found was, this is not a distant threat. It is a present danger. When Mary Fisher makes this statement, she is adding on to her statement that America will suffer in the near future if the awareness for AIDS does not increase.